This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 159, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode, I speak to the Hellraiser. Yes, that's right, he is back. And if you're asking yourself why he isn't on the show so much, in today's episode, you will find out the reason. He also moves the mic a couple of times. Microphone. We know that, right? Yeah, sure. He moves the microphone a couple of times. It's quite annoying, but luckily he only does it 2 or 3 times. As you know, I pride myself on good audio. Anyway, we speak about many things in today's show, but one of the things we talk about quite a lot, I don't know how this happened, is porn. Yes, that's right, pornographic films, whatever you want to call them. So, there's something to look forward to. Hey, here is the conversation. Happy listening. Hellraiser, how are you today?
Morning, Martin. Great. How are you?
Well, normally, as you know, I am always fantastic, but after the morning that I've just had trying to get connected and talk to you, I'm definitely not fantastic.
Tell me more. What was your problem?
Well, I actually didn't have any problems. We said, okay, we agreed a time. I was ready. I send you a message. Hellraiser, where are you? I've got a different computer today and I can't use this one. That's a good start, Hellraiser. That's a good start. And then we finally resolved that. I send you another message. Where are you? No response. What happened there?
So there was some men on my roof.
Do you want to explain why there were men on your roof?
So as soon as we were about to record, I had some commotion on the roof of my house. And it turns out there were some men on there, and I had to go outside and find out what the men were doing on the roof.
Some nice rock and roll vocabulary there, though. Commotion, like crazy, just noise, basically. But we still haven't understood what they were doing there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't know either. So that's why we had to go and ask them, men, what are you doing on my roof? And it turns out the landlord had sent some people over to clean the leaves off, but he didn't tell me. So I was a bit worried about what they were doing on the roof.
Just a normal day in Uganda, having people on your roof. Okay, well, we're off to a brilliant start there. We're off, so we've started in a fantastic way. But this is why we have routines, Hellraiser, to get our focus back. Okay, so how do we usually start the show?
With a review.
Yes, finally. The first thing you've done right all morning, correct? Do you think we have a review?
I hope so. Do we?
We've got one, baby. It's from Alexander Keeeeeep. Again, apologies for the pronunciation, from Russia. iTunes, 5 stars, you know, all of the things we like. And it says, great podcast, especially for the beginners. It really helps to set up a kind of basic understanding of small talk, rules and issues, the crucial things for those people who learn the language relying on themselves. That's right, we're doing it for the people. It gives you the correct approach to communication, cultural context and humour, including a bunch of controversial subjects covering in a slightly absurd and exaggerated way. Bracket, which is quite good. I would suggest very good.
Quite good. Also, he thinks we're only good for small talk. I mean, that hurt a little bit. We've covered some pretty heavyweight concepts on this show.
Well, that's what he said with the controversial topics, but it continues. It says, just a couple of things would be appreciated if you don't mind me suggesting. No problem. Number 1, more London accent. Absolutely mandatory for all visitors straight after the landing. We're all from near London, so that's okay. Number 2, Uber driver's accent. First time in London, I struggled a lot as they speak a completely different language. Cannot help you there, pal. Cannot help you there. Number 3, get Boom Boom back on the normal show. That's just my preference. Number 4, some information about specific British features, TfL, the NHS, and stuff like this. No mention of you so far, Hellraiser.
Good. I like to be mysterious.
Sure. And then it says the serious and last one. You guys really have power in that you are not attempting to teach literally, but you are sharing language and cultural experiences in a smart and natural way. That's pretty much the unique selling point of this show. So stay passionate and keep on rocking. Wow.
Wow, that's blown me away.
It's blown me away as well, Hellraiser. So when it blows you away, really shocks you in a good way. Okay, so now we're on to the normal show. I'm not going to ask you what we're talking about because you actually know. I have told you. Just to tell us, though, what is the topic of today's podcast, Hellraiser?
You said the 1990s.
The 1990s, yes. My favourite decade. I still cry every day that the 90s are over. And I've got some things here of just stuff about the 90s, some memories, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat. We spent a lot of time together in the 90s, didn't we, Hellraiser?
All of it, nearly. Half.
Well,
probably
yeah,
half.
The second half of it, yeah. And even then, you were making my life hell, and absolutely nothing has changed. So that makes me feel like I'm still in the 90s. So that's the good thing. That's the only reason I like to talk to you.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
Healthy.
Yeah. Good. So the first thing I've got on my list, things from the 90s, are Tamagotchis. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I do. They were those electronic pets that died, yeah?
Yes, electronic pets. Oh, wow. They were big, weren't they?
They were. I preferred yo-yos. I got more out of yo-yos.
I imagine people know what a yo-yo is. I think that's like internationally known, isn't it? How did you get more out of a yo-yo than an electronic pet?
Well, you didn't have to care for the yo-yo, which made it easier, and you could also do more tricks. You know, impress the chicks with a yo-yo more.
Yeah, by chicks, he means women there, which is another thing that we will speak about. Okay, Hellraiser.
Okay.
Tamagotchis, though, were my one and only favourite pet. Okay, because you had none of the smelly shit. They are the only pet that doesn't scare me.
That is embarrassing.
I did actually have a rabbit in the 90s, which I've spoken about before.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, Gizmo, mate, Gizmo.
Gizmo, did you come up with that name?
I can't remember. I stole it from the film Gremlins, if anyone's interested. Gizmo unfortunately died, but we never had such a close relationship because I was too scared to touch him.
Okay.
But it was still a sad day. Sad day.
Yeah, you okay? Is that bringing up some bad memories?
Oh, I still think about Gizmo quite a lot, but I need to move on with my life. And that's what I might do with a Tamagotchi. Mrs. Rock and Roll English always says she wants a dog. So I was thinking of getting a Tamagotchi dog, and then, she can't complain anymore.
Imagine that. It would be like having your worst enemy living with you. Your fucking personal hell.
Well, I'm sure I could put up with electronic device. So put up with, to tolerate. So next on the list, this is obviously for things in Britain where it says people used to go to Argos, which is a shop, and buy jewellery for their girlfriends or boyfriends. Very, very cheap jewellery in Argos. And I remember specifically once going with you, Hellraiser. We both had girlfriends at the time. I think we were maybe 11, maybe 12. And right. I remember you spent £2.99 on a necklace for your girlfriend at the time.
Wow. Oh, I need to get that back.
No expense spared. So when you say no expense spared, it means money's not an issue. You just spend as much as you want. That whole £2.99. Even a McDonald's costs more than that, and even cost more than that.
The thing is, though, when you think about it, that £2.99... I used to get paid £1 a day pocket money. So that's half a week's wages. And also thinking about it, getting paid £1 a day is modern day slavery. And I was under the working age, so my parents should be fucking held to account for that.
I didn't know you got £1 a day. That's actually not bad. That's £7 a week.
I had Sundays off, obviously.
Yes. So what did you have to do to earn this £1 a day?
Washing up.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh. I remember going to your house and your mother saying to you, "Have you done the washing up, Daniel?"
For £1 a day. Unreal.
I think she actually had a dishwasher as well, but she still made you do the washing up.
She did. No, they got the dishwasher when I moved to university, or when I moved out. He doesn't need to do that anymore.
Oh God! I actually spent £10 on a necklace that day in Argos that I remember very well. So that's always been me, Hellraiser, the more generous of the two of us. So whatever.
Yeah. How long were you with that girlfriend for?
Oh, I think probably about 3 weeks. Didn't speak to her, though. It was one of those, when you're 11, 12, you have a girlfriend. You talk to them a lot before, and then as soon as you become boyfriend and girlfriend, it's too embarrassing to talk to them, so I just avoided her.
Right, but you spent £10 on that girl, and I spent £3, and we probably split up at the same time. So that means I've got £7 in my pocket to spend.
That's
on
a
the
full
next
week's
two.
wages as well, isn't
Right.
it? £7.
Exactly.
Well, exactly, yeah. So I think you're right. I'm the idiot there.
Definitely.
So another thing from the 90s was disposable cameras. So you buy a camera and then you take all of the pictures and then you just basically throw it away. You obviously had to go to the shop to get the films developed. The films are the name of the camera things. And then we had before the decent phone cameras, everyone had those digital cameras, didn't
Yes.
they? Which reminds me of that time for your birthday once, Hellraiser. You invited everyone there. You had your digital camera taking lots of pictures. You invited your dad, and then your dad stole the camera, didn't he?
This is the stuff of urban legends, He was there, and then he left, and my camera wasn't there, so the rumour mill started. I've asked him about it, and he swears blind he didn't take it. Also, my
it's a real nice vocabulary there, by the way, when Hellraiser said the rumour mill. So, like a kind of windmill, I suppose, but lots of rumours started. And then he said he swears blind he didn't take it. He promises he didn't take it. I'm not so sure, though. I am not so sure.
Would have been weird, seeing as my mum bought it for me. So, I don't know. Read into that what you want.
I've made my conclusions, okay, which I have just mentioned.
Yeah.
So something else from the 90s was you had to call your friends on their house phones. I was thinking as well, maybe your house phone, I still remember. Was it 601188?
Wow. Yeah, it was.
Oh my God, how good is that? I swear, this is not an act, by the way. I have just remembered that from 22 years ago.
That is fucking weird.
Oh God!
You're happy with that?
Let's just stop here. Let's just stop. Oh, I couldn't be more happy. There's nothing I pride myself more on than my memory. Okay.
That's all.
Who needs computers to store things? Okay, when you've got a brain like me.
It's all you've got going for you, really. That's it.
Exactly. I haven't got a lot going for me. So when you have things going for you, they're like the positive things, let's say, of your life, which, there aren't a lot in mine. So, but I have got a good memory there.
Yeah, cling to that. Hold on to that.
Yeah, exactly. Cling to that. Hold on to it very tightly. Speaking of house phones, I recently got one a couple of months ago. And then I just thought, I'm officially an adult now. I've got a home phone. If you want to call me on the home phone, mate, just call me. I'll be there.
That would have been a sign of being an adult in, say, 1997. I don't think it's the same now. Is it?
Well, I've got one, okay? It's portable, so it's got no wire. You can, be in the kitchen and just talk to someone on the home phone. It's fine.
Like a mobile. Exactly like a mobile phone.
Good idea for the mobile phone, but it's not the same, is it? If you've got a home phone, you're an adult.
It's exactly the same.
I'm still waiting for my first call on the home phone, though. So, like I said, you can be the first.
Well, why don't you put your home number up on the Rock and Roll Family website and we can all just call you?
I would be happy. I would be happy for that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, well, let's do that. So another thing I've got here is renting movies to watch because, before Netflix and all of this, there were what we used to call video shops, and you had to go to the shop and obviously rent a video just for a few days. anytime anyone used to go there that was a teenager, always look at the top shelf. What was on the top shelf, Hellraiser?
The blueies, the blue films.
The blue films, yes. And speaking of blue films, we also had a problem, again, recording this podcast. The Hellraiser didn't have enough memory on his computer. Why was that, Hellraiser?
Well, this is supposed to be a private conversation, but okay. There was too much vintage porn on my computer. I had to free up some space.
Yeah, sure.
And it was, funnily enough, vintage porn from around the late 1990s era. So, how ironic.
Just still reliving those like teenage memories of watching a pornographic film. Yeah.
In non-HD. It's great. Nostalgic.
Exactly.
Sometimes I do the washing up whilst I'm watching them, just to bring back the memories.
Well, these days you can just put it on your phone, like on your iPad. So you've got porn on the go. Right.
And it changes if you go into the next room. It just comes on automatically. You can do that. Someone told me.
Sure. I wouldn't know, of course. I don't know anything about that. Although the Hellraiser did use some nice vocabulary there when he said he needed to free up memory. So to create some space to free up memory. Another thing that used to happen in the 90s, as, well, we were teenagers, I suppose they still exist, of like those teenage magazines, you know, like the men's magazines that say like 3 tips to get a harder penis and stuff like this.
Right. This is news to me. Go on, give me the 3 tips. Give everyone the 3 tips.
I can't remember what they were, but that was like the selling point of it. There would always be a man that was really muscly on the front with his top off. And I would always think, that will be me in a few years. I will have a body like that. Still waiting.
It's kind of gone the other way, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it's got
a bit
worse.
Really.
So, my going back to what we were briefly talking about earlier with my vintage porn, you mentioned that you never watched porn, and I thought that was either a complete lie or a bit weird. Maybe one of the reasons why you're so uptight and grumpy. Maybe you should just try it. You know.
Well, so there's some nice rock and roll vocabulary there. Uptight. So someone, and grumpy. So grumpy is like always in a bad mood, and uptight, if you just say one thing, that person gets angry. This was the conversation that the Hellraiser and I were having before, and I think you were right. It was better to keep it private because, as we know, my mum listens to this, but. I have got nothing to be ashamed of because, as the Hellraiser just mentioned, I don't watch porn. I don't like it. It's just strange to see 2 people I don't know having sex. It's fake as well. Well, it's either fake or I'm really shit in bed because the women just go crazy. Like, So that doesn't seem normal to me.
I think you need to look at that.
That doesn't seem normal.
Yeah, I think you need to look within a bit more. I don't think you should be blaming porn for your problems. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I think I don't watch it, because there's just a lot of really muscly men with really big penises, and it just doesn't make me feel like a very good person. It makes me feel very inadequate.
Oh, God.
Speaking about pornos, though, do you remember some kid at school renting a porn video for everyone for £2 a night?
Yeah, I do. I think I kept that for a week.
I bet you made a copy as well, didn't you?
Spent all my pocket money on that one.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember him handing that out in the playground like it was some kind of like drugs or something. Look what I've got in my bag.
Handing out, literally, when you give something with your hands, like people hand out leaflets on the street. Very annoying, but they do it. So one more to finish, Hellraiser.
Right.
Given that we've basically turned this 90s discussion into a podcast about porn, I thought we could end on how we used to save everything on a floppy disk.
Okay.
So if people aren't aware of what floppy disks, what floppy disks are or were, there are the little, basically, the disks that you had to save stuff on before CDs, before, what are those things called? Memory stick things. You had a 3.5-inch floppy disk. I had to think about that word again. But the thing is, the word floppy is generally associated with what, Hellraiser?
Dicks, like you said. You've already said it.
I was hoping you were going to say penis to go for the nicer word, but you didn't. Yes, if your penis is floppy, it's not hard. So if you were calling something a 3.5-inch floppy disk in an IT lesson, information technology, every time the teacher said it, that was a moment to laugh.
For sure. I'd be pretty happy with a floppy that was 3.5 inches anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, 3.5 inches whilst floppy, I suppose, is quite good. I bet the people from the pornos, though, theirs is like 10 inches when it's floppy.
I don't know, mate. I don't watch them.
Well, exactly. Anyway, I think we actually need to go. We were supposed to talk about the 90s, but we're talking just about porn, so I think it is time we said goodbye.
Okay. No worries.
I would say a pleasure as always, but it's been an absolute nightmare, Hellraiser.
Yeah, agreed. Let's not do this again.
Yes, agreed. Okay, well, thanks a lot for your time.
Okay, adios. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was me speaking to the Hellraiser about the 90s and pornographic films. So let's have a look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. The Hellraiser said there was some commotion outside. So there was lots of movement, noise, lots of stuff was going on. And then I said, we're off to a brilliant start. I mean, that's quite obvious, but just notice the word off. We're off to a brilliant start. The Hellraiser said that the review has blown him away. So if something blows you away, it impresses you, let's say, shocks you in a good way, though. That's the important thing, in a good way. When the Hellraiser bought that necklace for his girlfriend for £2.99, I said, no expense spared. So it means that you don't care about money. You just spend it whatever. You do not care. We had the word disposable when we were talking about disposable cameras. So that's something you can just throw away after using it. And remember, the name of the thing that you had to put in those cameras was called a film. That's right. Then we were talking about the Hellraiser's camera and how his dad stole it. And the Hellraiser said the rumour mill started. In the episode, I actually said it's like a wing mill, which is actually incorrect. I wanted to say a windmill because you think it moves around. So that's what happened. And all of the rumours started. But the Hellraiser said that his dad swears blind he didn't take it. So he swears blind. He is adamant. He swears it was not me. I did not do this. Then we were talking about my memory. And then the Hellraiser said that's all you've got going for you. So that's the only good thing you have in your life. And, you know, he's probably not wrong. The Hellraiser also told me to cling to that memory. So when you cling to something, you hold on to it very tightly. Then we started talking about all of the porn, and the Hellraiser said he needed to free up space on his computer. So notice that, free up space. If there's too much porn on there, make sure you free up some space. The Hellraiser also said that I am uptight and grumpy because I don't watch porn. So grumpy is someone that is always in a bad mood, always angry. Uptight is someone that, you know, gets angry very quickly. You just have to say one thing like, what are you doing tonight? And the other person says, why do you want to know? Because he is uptight. We also had the phrasal verb to hand out. So literally to give something to someone, like a leaflet or a porno video. It's the same kind of thing, isn't it? Maybe they should give porno videos out on the street. Then I might think about stopping. Then we had the word floppy, which, remember, is the opposite of hard, especially used for penises. Anyway, that is all of the rock and roll vocabulary. Remember, it's on the website rockandrollenglish.com, episode number 159. I think there might be a small problem with the website at the moment. I'm not sure. If there is, I'm trying to resolve it. Anyway, I will see you all again next week, people. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.